What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to continue this series on race. If you didn't know, we're kind of taking over the world, actually. Biracial, multicultural individuals are growing at a speed that is 3 times the amount of the general population. The thing that I want you guys to realize about identity in general, and racial identity specifically, is that it is fluid. It's a fluid experience, meaning that it's always changing, and it really is a lifelong experience. So our jobs as parents is really fundamentally to expose our children to all of their cultural backgrounds, and then to allow them to choose the identity that fits for them at that time period. Another thing about racial identity is that it is influenced by multiple different factors, including the individual's physical features, their family attachments, as well as their experiences in their environment. Now, I could go into the plethora of models out there that explain biracial identity development, because there is quite a few, but I do think that's a little bit beyond the scope of this video. Let me know down in the comments if you want another video about the different models of biracial identity development. But what I want to stick to in this video is some simple tips that you as parents raising biracial or multicultural children can keep in mind to help them truly thrive and come to an identity that is most true and authentic for them. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to start by being confident in your own race and your own racial identity, right? As I've been saying in a lot of these videos already, it really starts with us as parents, right? We cannot begin these conversations about race if we are not first very comfortable talking about it and comfortable in our own identity. And that also looks like stating very blatantly the facts, right? Mom is white, or mom is Mexican, mom is X, Y, and Z, and dad is X, Y, and Z. You know, letting your children know what different cultural backgrounds they come from, as well as pointing out the differences in features, right? The differences in hair textures and skin colors and maybe even eye colors. Pointing those out and being very direct and honest about it will create an environment where children feel open and comfortable coming to us to talk about their race and talk about how in the ways in which they look different than us as parents. So another tip is to get really comfortable about acknowledging and celebrating racial differences. I do have a video that goes into a lot more strategies or tips behind how we as parents can point those differences out and actually celebrate them. So be sure to check out this video if you haven't already. But you do want to be doing that with your biracial children, as well as exposing them to their heritage, right? Their different cultural backgrounds. So that could look like teaching them about the history of their cultures, teaching them about the traditions, the different languages, the foods that they enjoy, right? You might take them to different museums, travel to different places, because you really want to immerse them in the culture that they come from, and so that they can be exposed, develop a sense of pride in where they come from, and ultimately to decide on a racial identity that fits well for them and feels most authentic to them, knowing that this process is fluid, right? They will commonly change their mind or identify with different races depending on, you know, different time periods or ages or even situations. Another tip that I kind of feel goes without saying, but I will say it, is that it's really important to diversify the media at which they are exposed to, right? So that means their toys, their children's books, their TV shows, all of that should be very diverse, right? Because children, especially children of color, need to see themselves represented in the media that they consume. So along those same lines, you want to be an active participant in their school, right? You want to be having conversations with their teachers on how they plan to address and intervene racist bullying. What is the reality of their curriculum, and what are some concrete ways they can diversify their curriculum. You might even need to donate books that are diverse, but becoming a very active participant in the school, having those honest, maybe even difficult, awkward conversations with teachers is definitely a place to start, and making sure that your child feels safe in the school that they learn from, making sure that they are supported and that you are on board. You and the teachers are having very honest communication and everybody is on the same page when it comes to this. And then along those same lines is really preparing your child for racism, teaching them that there are people who believe that their skin color makes them superior to other people, but that has nothing to do with them, and that has to do with the other people feeling inferior themselves. And that when people ask them questions about, what are you, feeling prepared to talk about it, but feeling very confident and prideful in their cultural background, right? So teaching them that this is nothing to be ashamed of, right? You come from 2 different races or more, and that is something to be celebrated. This is beautiful. It doesn't make you better than other children at your school, of course, but it makes you unique in your own special way. And that when children or other adults come and ask you what you are, let's come up with something that feels good for you to say. Really preparing them for those conversations so they're not floundering, they're not feeling doubtful in their responses or embarrassed in any way. You want to kind of open the door for that, get those conversations started, because whether we like it or not, they might have to deal with these experiences at school, and we want them to feel prepared and confident. And also teaching them, if there's any questions or remarks that makes them feel uncomfortable, they can politely excuse themselves from the conversation, right? They always have the power to excuse themselves, and if somebody is treating them unfairly, then they can go tell an adult, tell a teacher, tell you, right? Give them a plan of action for how they're going to handle those remarks. And really, again, just keeping that door open, letting them know that this is a safe place at home to come to you, to talk about what's going on at school, to answer any questions or concerns that they have, or just to listen to them and their experiences. And of course, we want to teach our children that they are active agents of change, right? We want to teach them that, when we have these conversations about race and racism, that they are powerful in their own right, and that they have a duty to speak out against injustices and what that looks like for them, right? You guys can role play these situations of what they might say, or again, what they might do, whether that's walk away or go get help from a teacher or somebody else at school, helping them, prepare them, as well as equipping them with the power that they have to stand up against bullying of any kind, including racist bullying. And I think the biggest takeaway that I want parents who are raising biracial or multiracial children to take away from this video is to allow the space, the time, the opportunity to really experiment with their racial identity, because again, this is fluid. It's based on so many different factors, and this is something that they're going to change their mind about frequently. They're going to want to experiment with, and if we as parents can allow them the space to do that in a way that feels safe to our children, then we are giving them the biggest gift ever in raising really strong, self-confident, empowered children. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, because I will be uploading more videos related to race and racism on this channel. And if you haven't already, check out my playlist. I have a playlist called Let's Talk Race, and it includes a couple different videos already about this topic. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.